Thank you all for coming. Before I proceed, I just wanted to say thank you to my viewers, and especially to my small, loyal group of regular commenters. Andrew, Ashley, Dan, Fiona, Firewolf, King, Lucy, Matthew, Nymphadel, William, and the other William. Thank you all for your continued engagement and support. It's to you that I must apologize profusely. I'm not a perfect person. I've never claimed to be. I've made mistakes and held some unpopular opinions. The Ark, the Pyramids of Mars, not to mention the faceless ones. All opinions that weigh heavily on my heart. But today, I fear I face the greatest backlash yet. To the classic Doctor Who fan community, I sincerely apologise, but I like the Invasion of Time. So yeah, since the Season 15 Classic Collection Blu-ray box set released in the UK, I have seen numerous comments and memes about how despised the season finale was. Not since Revenge of the Cybermen, another Fourth Doctor season finale, has a story been so dunked on, at least from what little I've seen. Again, I'm not involved in many Doctor Who circles online, so when I see the same sentiment pop up more than twice, I generally assume that that's the popular consensus. If not, then I just made an incredibly dramatic video intro for nothing. Anyway, The Invasion of Time, the 6-part 1978 wrap-up to Season 15. A season which has had some pleasant surprises, and spoiler alert, is probably the first season in quite a while that I found to have no bad serials. Pretty much everything ranged from good to great to mid. The story, surprisingly, follows up on The Deadly Assassin, with the Doctor apparently being offered the position of President of Gallifrey? Don't quite remember that. But the story starts in such a strange and abrupt way that it kind of caught me off guard and forced me to pay attention to what ended up being yet another really intriguing setup. This season has had a lot of great intros setting up interesting events, with this serial being no different, and I kinda like the sinister intrigue. You see, the Doctor's behaving in a way that might sorta have you believe that he's turned into a villain of sorts. But the question of what's really going on here is what I think is more important. Seriously, I was shocked to read on Wikipedia that someone back in the day considered the episode 2 Evil Doctor cliffhanger to be one of the greatest cliffhangers in all of classic Doctor Who. Really? You're falling for that? I believe if you thought that the point of the first couple of episodes was to make the viewer question if the Doctor had turned bad or not, then you really missed the point. Something's obviously fishy from the first scene, don't get me wrong. And with the Doctor acting so out of character, I think the mystery of why and what the Doctor is really up to is the main draw. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's what drew me into this one. I appreciated seeing Gallifrey again, with the costumes being on point. And the whole build-up and reveal of the sinister Vardens, I thought to be great. Well, the build-up and explanation of their abilities I thought was great, but their actual reveal, I think, was intentionally disappointing. Or at least the Doctor acknowledges that it's disappointing, so I think that the writers knew it as well. Their defeat and subsequent disappearance is simultaneously satisfying and sudden, so I can kind of get why some people might find them disappointing. But come on, they're hardly the worst villains the series has ever had. Oh well, job's done, day saved, game over, see you next time. Haha, very funny. Yes, of course, this is the part where I pretend that the video's over, despite having neglected to mention one specific, very important detail. This is actually a Sontaran story. Isn't it? No. No, it's not a Sontaran story, despite the Sontarans being in it. And I fear that might contribute to the Invasion of Time's poor reception. Now, for one thing, because it features the Sontarans, which I love, I have obviously seen this one before. But, say it with me now, I have no memory of it. And I think that the blatant lack of Sontarans in a DVD from a Sontaran box set might be why. If you go into this not as a Sontaran story, but as just another adventure, then I think that's probably like the best way to go about it, and you might just find yourself enjoying it more than you would. Plus, it would make the surprise Sontaran reveal even more impactful. Personally, I found it exciting enough to overlook the Varden's kind of underwhelming disappearance from the plot. But I completely understand if people don't like their inclusion specifically. Like, I can hear the argument now, or the Sontarans weren't set up at all, it's so out of the blue, it's out of nowhere. Yeah, you're not wrong. But as for me, I like their inclusion. For the most part. Now it's time for my biggest complaint towards the Invasion of Time, and it's a big one. The entire final episode feels entirely filler. It's shocking. So much running around this old, abandoned, dilapidated building that they expect us to believe is the TARDIS interior? While I initially planned on praising the inclusion of another room in the TARDIS, the first look we've had at an unseen location within for ages, but the entire last episode is just characters mindlessly running through this ugly location. Like, are we really supposed to believe that this is what the inside of the TARDIS looks like? No! No, it's terrible! I get why they did it, but surely the production designers could have put something together. Anything would have been better than just filming in an empty building and saying, "Oh, look, we're deep within the bowels of the TARDIS." I'm getting tired of saying TARDIS. Well, in the end, the Doctor, who doesn't like guns, has a dematerialization gun assembled so he can do away with the Sontarans. Okay, I do hereby, as of this moment, relent my viewpoint towards the Doctor's stance against guns. I'm aware that it was mostly a modern Doctor Who concept, but I kind of liked the idea that he always had that character trait, but time and time again, classic Doctors have utilised various weapons, including deadly firearms, and I mention it every single time, to the point where it probably annoys some of my regular viewers. So I give up. The classic Doctors can use guns as much as they like, and I will just deal with it. Apologies for the interruption. They make a big deal about this weapon and how it should never have been constructed, let alone used. But then the lead Sontaran inexplicably has a grenade that the Doctor says can wipe out the entire galaxy, and yeah, I'm starting to see the examples of bad writing people are talking about. Yep. Moments like that are lazy, and the last episode really sucked. I was with it all the way through, forgiving sudden villain changes and stuff like that, but I'll admit, episode 6 had me walking away feeling like this was just another meh story. But I know it wasn't! I enjoyed so much of it, but that waste of 23 minutes is probably going to lead to me forgetting about this one all over again. And they get rid of Leela. I know I shouldn't say it like that, but I'm annoyed at the moment, and to be fair, I did know it was coming for a while. Heck, just last week I was talking about how I came to really appreciate hers and the Doctor's camaraderie. She was a great character with loads of development, and I never saw her as just being eye candy, which I've seen some criticise her for. Louise Jameson did an excellent job both putting up with Tom Baker and portraying such a layered character. I mean, hey, you gotta be strong to put up with the Fourth Doctor's mean streak, right? And let me say it right now that the final battle that short film that they released is part of the season 15 Blu-ray box set that showed the Leela versus the Time War. That gave me chills. It's awesome. Certified badass. Alright, I've already rambled off a lot longer than I wanted to, and there's still so much left to cover. So, end of the story, there's a random moment where after the Doctor fires off the DMAT gun, he completely forgets everything that just transpired in the serial. Why? So he's obviously not the president anymore, but why make the bizarre decision to give the Doctor amnesia? It's so random. Oh, and as for the ultra-powerful, dangerous, forbidden, galaxy-destroying super weapon, the DMAT gun just disappears from the plot entirely. Like, the Doctor uses it once and then falls down and... Oh yeah, bring back the tally for the Fourth Doctor falling unconscious again, because that happens. And then we just never see or hear about the DMAT gun ever again. It's just gone for the plot. Actually, what happened to that traitor side character? Yeah, the more I think about this ending, the more I hated it. I promise I liked episodes 1 to 5, though. I have a lot of notes, some good, some bad, but I don't want this to balloon to another 20-minute review, so here's just a bunch of things that I wanted to point out. While last week's serial Underworld's cliffhangers sucked, this one's were fire. I know the serial gets lambasted for its humour, and admittedly, some of it lands, but some of it really misses. But either way, I didn't find it too intrusive. But sir, if I do that, he'll have me shot. Well, that's alright, I'll have him shot. Whether they be comedic or not, something I did find distracting were the numerous cases of characters looking directly into the camera, one of which was so egregiously fourth wall breaking that it actually annoyed me. Like, what is this, the Feast of Stephen? Having K9's ears and tail move was not worth the quite loud motorized engine noises. Like, there are some scenes where you're sitting there and you can just hear this engine whirring sound that's not just noticeable, it's unavoidable. And also K9's ears can spin in a circle off camera. It even goes so far as to ruining the admittedly rushed companion farewell scene. Honestly, I never expected anything different from this Doctor. No heartfelt farewell or reminiscing on their countless adventures. Just a quick, okay, bye. Oh look, K9 Mark II. Oh, and how about this blatant plot hole? Presumably, numerous Time Lords perish throughout the serial's runtime, but I want to call attention to 4 in particular that get executed on screen standing outside of the TARDIS, and they don't regenerate. Everyone involved in the creation of the invasion of time either forgot or just didn't care about the most important thing about being a Time Lord: their ability to regenerate after death. The only argument I can feasibly imagine is that all the guards had these super rare ray guns with the capability to kill a Time Lord and disable their ability to regenerate. Yet no. No, as far-fetched an idea as that is, I cannot see them giving these super powerful weapons to every low-ranking guard. Or maybe all of the Time Lords that died on screen were just on their last regeneration. Why am I arguing with myself for? And finally, why the heck did the TARDIS groan like an old man?
Steady, old girl. This won't hurt a bit.
Were you really so strained for a sound effect on the spot that you couldn't be bothered whipping up something cool and sci-fi sounding on a computer? It really reminds me of some bloke just woofing in the background in one of the Third Doctor's Auton stories, like it's supposed to be a dog, and it's just someone going, "Woof, woof, 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 woof." Okay, fine, I give in. The Invasion of Time has a lot of stupid and mediocre elements that I cannot possibly justify, but I still enjoyed most of it. Unfortunately, due to that terrible final episode, I probably won't find myself remembering this one fondly at all. What a waste of the Sontarans. I'm going to miss Leela. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Prepare!
What the heck was that? Got myself worked up there, didn't I? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed watching this season of reviews as much as I've enjoyed making them. It does feel good to be back, and it helps that Season 15 was very fun. Now I cannot wait to dive in to Season 16 next week with The Key to Time.